Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is Glossy Philosophy. My name is Jansen Bindman and today we are doing one of my favorite looks, and that is a 1920s flapper and or movie starlet. So if you want to learn how to get this look, then stay tuned. As always, we are going to start with a fresh face and basically from scratch. So let's get started. This is definitely a fashion look because the eyes are super smoky and the lips are very dark as well. I would say that historically, this is probably something that maybe an actress, a black and white actress, movie actress might have to do to be able to be seen on the screen, but otherwise women in the 20s, unless I suppose they were super flappers, would not be wearing their makeup like this. And if you haven't seen Lisa Eldridge's history of makeup, it is amazing and you learn so much. I will make sure that I link a couple things below if you are interested in the history of makeup. She does a fabulous job. Okay, we're taking our primer and all the way from the lid, from the lash line, all the way up to the brow bone. And before that, I just did my corrector in Bisque. When you're doing a really smoky eye, it is imperative that you cancel out any darkness underneath the eye. Otherwise, you're just gonna look really sleepy. Now we are kind of wrapping this smoky eye around our eye, so we will look a little kind of dreamy esque, but we don't want to look like actually tired. So now I'm going to go in with my Bobbi Brown perfectly defined gel liner. There's lots of black in this look as well, kind of gray blacks. When I look at the pictures, it looks very matte, but the pictures are so soft too because Grace Coddington really appreciated softer photographs. Nothing is really sharp. So the makeup artist that day may have used some shimmer, but it's kind of hard to tell because it is a softer photograph, which I personally really appreciate that. Okay, we're not going to do complexion yet because we're going to just kind of jump into the eyes, but I am going to do my brows. And I am going to go a little on the darker side, like I usually do when I'm doing the Vogue looks, because I don't know if they just favor a darker brow or it does photograph very nicely if you want something really strong. And this is a strong look, for sure. It's actually really interesting because the clothes that they're wearing, I mean, the models aren't really wearing that much. They're almost scantily clad, dare I say. But the makeup is heavy. It's almost like acting like clothing itself. Or like another layer of clothing. Which, you know, when I used to work at Sephora and I would do certain looks, it definitely did feel like another layer of my wardrobe. So I can see where that could be coming from. But the 20s were definitely a time of kind of freeing yourself away from convention and really just going for it. Okay, so I'm going to show you my MAC palette. I cleared out like all the other shadows, and these are my brow colors as usual, and then we're going to be really focusing on these four colors. We have, here, let me just name them for you. We have Brulee, we have Cozy Gray, we have, this one is Scene, and then we have Carbon. Okay, so that's what we're going to be working with. I'm going to start off with Brulee just to lay down a layer of powder. Again, because we are doing that smoky eye, I'm going to kind of do like a Bobbi Brown smoky eye where I'm just building. And actually I was using a 217. I'm going to switch over to my 201. I'm feeling excited to do this look because I saw this movie, I saw this shoot on the September issue. If you haven't watched that movie, oh my gosh, it's amazing. I should own that movie. It's so good. Grace Coddington talks about her inspiration for everything. You get to see a little bit of the inside of Vogue. It's just awesome. Anyways, sometimes when I get excited about makeup, I forget what I'm doing. So we're going to focus back in on this look. Okay, going in with Cozy Gray on a 217 now. So I've laid down Brulee with a 201 or a really fluffy brush. And there are no cat eyes. It is just straight from the lash line up, so that we're going to focus more on the center of the lid than we normally would. Just kind of laying that down really gently. When you're working with, again, darker colors and colors that are more gray in nature, you don't want to go in with like your big blending moves. Just take your time, blend it out, take a step back every once in a while. And you know, these starlets, they were not trying to do the cat eye, which is so popular today. I feel like it was definitely more focused almost on making like doll eyes. So the focus was on more of the center and going up from there rather than the cat eye, which is focusing on the outer third. Just laying down that Cozy Gray again, just really gently, using the tip of my brush in the crease and the flat side on my lid. Starting in the center and blending out. Taking a step back and just making sure that everything is equal. Same saturation level. And just softening any edges. This makeup is very soft, just like the photographs are. Okay. Now, actually I'm going to stick with the 217. So same 217. I'm just going to take off any excess on the back of my arm. I'm going to go in with Scene, which is kind of like a purpley gray. And I'm going to brush that along my lash line and then start bringing that up. Again, not rushing. We are, after all, 1920s starlets. We have time. Putting most of the pigment down by the lash line and then blending up. And we are definitely starting to get that smoky eye. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. And then I'm going to start working on the crease. So you can probably see by now, if you have any discoloration underneath the eye, it is really going to start popping because we're almost working with like those zombie colors. If we had a little bit more of like a plum or something, then we would be getting into that like undead look. Okay, we're going to relax our face as best as we can and start working on that crease. Again, really focusing more on the center than the outer part of the eye. Now, if you have, okay, this is when we need a clean brush, so I'm going to use my Kashuk, my Sonia Kashuk brush. If you have more almond-shaped eyes and you don't have a lot of lid space up here, then wherever you have the most lid space, start there. Focus your powder there. Again, relaxing the face. But I feel like they were really into that doll eye, which at the time was a very round eye. Big, big round eyes. And that's what the starlets are doing. Okay, I'm just gonna knock off a little bit of that. And because I haven't done my concealer, I'm not gonna worry about right here. But we're getting plenty dark, and now we're really gonna go for it. So I'm gonna take my pencil brush into Carbon, and I'm gonna start smudging that into my lash line. I'm always knocking off any excess on my brush before I start placing. If you don't do that, you're just gonna have massive, massive fallout on your face, unfortunately. And I'm basically using this as a liner. Now again, when I look back at these photos, everything is so soft and smoky. Going back in with my 217, I'm just gonna start blending that Carbon up. But if we had just kind of gone in with Carbon and not laid down any of that extra scene and cozy gray, it would be really intense. And then this is kind of where you keep going. You just kind of keep going until you feel like you don't want to keep going anymore. The great thing about a look like this is that it really emphasizes the whites of your eye, which usually pushes your eye color forward. And if you can find a gray that has an undertone that is like the opposite of your eye color, like for green eyes, purple is really great because that's going to pop the green. If you have brown eyes, you can kind of go with anything, but a blue would be really great, like a blue undertone. And if you have blue eyes, then maybe if you can find like a warmer gray, something with a red or an orange is really going to pop the color of your eyes. Okay, and then just blending that out. So right now I'm just softly kind of going back and forth really quickly on the top of that line. And we're going to go in again, same pencil brush with Carbon, just building that up slowly. Sometimes with the smoky eye, you just have to keep going back and forth until you get your desired effect. Now the models that Vogue used look like they have smaller lids, so it looks like they kind of brought that black up a little bit further. So with nothing extra on my brush, I will just kind of tug that Carbon up a little bit more. And by tug, I mean just softly pull that Same thing on this side. It's already nice and soft, but we can pull it up even further. Okay. This side definitely has a little bit more carbon on it, so we'll go back in with our pencil brush and try to even that out a little bit. You could also go in with a smudge brush. That would actually be a really good idea. All right. Going back in with my 217 and just softening any edges. I'm not going to bring carbon up into my crease. That would be a different look and a different kind of tutorial. All right, so you can see my eyes are really the focus. So if you wanted to stop here, maybe add a little bit underneath and do a very neutral lip, this would look great, especially for like maybe New Year's or something. Maybe add a little sparkle. Awesome. But we are doing a Vogue shoot and it is a very fashionable shoot, so we're just going to keep going. I'm going to go in with my mascara and really start to build up my lashes. Again, I can't tell if they're wearing false lashes, but it doesn't look like it because it doesn't look super lashy to me. And these are models and it's not like a celebrity, and the celebrities usually are wearing lashes or maybe like individual lashes. But the models don't, it doesn't seem like they usually have falsies on. I wonder if anyone's ever made a spreadsheet about that. They're not super transparent about the makeup and how they do it and stuff, so especially like from older shoots, so I don't know. Alright, going in with Smokey Eye Mascara. This is kind of what this mascara is made for. Making sure that you can see your lashes with a really dark eye. You could also do this look with cream shadows. That would be gorgeous. And again, it would be a little bit softer. So if you're a little bit older, or you have kind of like more loose skin on your lids, but you still want to do a smoky eye, definitely try cream shadows. They'll just be a lot more gentle and they're a lot more forgiving than matte dark powders. Okay, basically I'm just trying to give myself that false lash look without putting on false lashes. All right, we're gonna do the lower lash line. Really coat it on. Even when you put on just mascara, it almost looks like you've lined your lower lash line. Okay, now we're gonna go in with the complexion and start to kind of polish up this look a little bit. I'm just gonna take my finger and tap underneath my skin. Because I was tapping off any excess while we were going, I shouldn't have too much fallout, and MAC shadows are amazing for not having fallout if you're using them correctly. Whereas a lot of the newer brands, I feel like the powders are so soft that you're pretty much guaranteed to get a ton of fallout. Okay, so I'm going to be doing a lot more sculpting because when, again, you have a really dark eye, it's a good idea to just help yourself out. Give yourself a break. Just follow your natural bone structure. So my cheekbone is kind of right here, so I'm just going above that. And I don't really want to blend this out onto my cheek too much because I don't want to make my cheek, I don't want to make my face wider, especially for 1920s. I feel like everyone's so svelte. At least that's how it's kind of portrayed, even though I know that's not true, but I'm thinking of like the Fisher Mysteries with Phryne Fisher from Australia. She's not like, you know, a twig, but she's small. So we don't want to make our face look wider by bringing our concealer out like that. You usually want to bring your concealer down as much as possible, especially if it's a little bit lighter than your skin tone or your foundation. And back then, their makeup would have been a lot thicker, kind of like in the Audrey Hepburn tutorials that I've done this month. So that's something to keep in mind if you are going for more of a historically accurate feel. Okay, this is looking much better, but something that you will notice, again, when you do a darker eye, is that after you put on your foundation, you might think, I'm looking a little colorless, a little, dare I say, on the dead side. So it's really important that you add a little bit of color back in, even if you're just doing a nude gloss. I'm going to powder. Actually, I'm going to use 2 powder brushes. Because again, those models are flat. I wouldn't, no, they're not flat. They're like that in between matte. They're not matte like Audrey Hepburn matte, but they're not modern. It's not modern skin either. Okay. And just putting most of my powder, concentrating most of my powder through the center of my face, putting a little bit on my cheeks, and definitely on my forehead, because I'm going to go in with some bronzer from NATASHA DENONA. And I'm not really going to contour, but I'm just going to play with my bone structure a little bit. So really focusing on the outer part of my face. I'm not really going to do any blush. It didn't really look like the models had blush. If they did, it was very subtle. I think because then you would have had 3 kapow things going on and it would have been too much. So I'm sure they did just a little bit of like a contour bronzer or something, just to give them a little bit of life back. Okay, let's finish the eyes and then we'll do the lips. I'm going to go back in with my Bobbi Brown gel liner, and I'm going to line my waterline, my lower waterline. Yeah, so we are really closing off the eye. But because we're bringing the shadow down, it's not going to look quite so Catwoman. Okay, I'm going to mix on my pencil brush a little bit of carbon and a little bit of Scene. And I'm going to start on the outer part, but it did look like it was kind of wrapped around. And I'm going to take a clean 217 because my other one is pretty concentrated. It's been well loved during this tutorial. Okay, same thing. And again, if it feels like you're noticing my green eyes, that is from Scene, because it has a little bit of purple in there. Okay, now I'm going to knock off what's on my 217. I'm going to go in with Cozy Gray, and I'm going to mix in a little Brulee, and I'm just going to soften that a little bit. This is a fashion shoot, so the rules kind of don't apply for normal makeup. It's supposed to be dramatic. It's supposed to be a little bit over the top. It's not supposed to be something that you would necessarily wear out and about, especially, wait for it, when I add this lip. So I'm going to go in with Painterly from Lisa Eldridge, just, you know, the perfect shade for this, no big deal. And I know if I go too on, like, just outside of my lip line, then it does start to look really fake. So we are just going to kind of take that back. It does start to look over the top. And this makeup, while it looks fashiony, it doesn't look over the top. I'm gonna grab my concealer brush. I am gonna go in with a little bit of a deeper tone. This is Cinnabar from Lisa Eldridge. There. Okay. It's always really important that you lick your top teeth, pinky, pull through. Then when you're smiling for your Vogue shoot, you won't have lipstick on your teeth. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. This is one of those photo shoots that is always in my brain, and I love it so, so much. Again, this look is over the top. You would never probably wear this makeup all together, but the components are awesome, and you can definitely take this and wear it with a slightly less smoky eye or just a really light eye, and you can take this and wear it with like a peachier lip gloss and maybe not go quite so dark on the carbon, and it will look amazing. So if you are dressing up for Halloween as a 20s flapper, then I say go for it. Or if like a movie star from the 20s, go for it. Everyday life, maybe not. Again, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you learned some things. If you enjoyed it at all, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I do fashion videos every Wednesday, beauty videos every Friday, lots of blogs in between. I'm on Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, obviously, and the blog. So check out all the links, and I will see you very soon. Bye!